Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Hey, long video for you. So on your walk, on your daily exercise, on laying down, on a long drive, that's what this video is for. Now, I had a partner of mine, one of my guys, he asked me to do a video on entanglements. And so I had to look up the word, and I realized it's kind of in the media, going around dealing with celebrity relationships, or maybe relationships across the board, just people, a word. And in my assessment and what I gather from this word as it relates to a relationship, when you think about entangled, it's really a word when you're trying to escape responsibility, when you don't want to accept responsibility for your choices and your actions. That's really what the word is. It's really a word that ties right in with creating miscellaneous, illicit soul ties. And what I notice is this is a space when you get caught in your mess, is when we say entangled. When you get caught in your mess and you need to save face. And a lot of people have been there. You see a lot of times where I remember seeing people, celebrities and everyday people, the man would get a woman pregnant, a woman on the side, and then he would say he was entangled. He would say that when the woman got pregnant, him and his main woman was on a break. Now, think about this. If you've been with somebody for years and y'all separate, y'all break up, how do you go and get into a whole situationship if you love this person that you've been with? And a lot of us have done this now. Go get in a whole situation. And I remember hearing about two men in the media who had long-term girlfriends or fiancés, and they got a woman on the side pregnant. And both stories was, we were separated. We were going through. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Because think about this process now. And then sometimes women do it. So men and women do this. But think about this process. You in a relationship. You having tough times. And in the midst of this relationship that you so-called trying to make work, you get hurt, y'all separate, or you take a break, and then you, the entangled person, go and create relations with someone else who obviously does not have any bylaws, policies, and procedures set in place for their life, because they understand that they are a rebound or they are a hold me down. They understand that. And so now think about this. Essentially what this is pain, is ignorance, immaturity, a lack of responsibility, a lack of accountability. Because to look yourself in the mirror and to confront yourself is one of the most painful things you will ever do in your life. Because when you do this, you have to grow and you have to change. And the sacrifice that must be made means that what you want to do, your flesh, what you want to do, you won't be able to do. Because when we are hurting, when we are lost, when we are confused, when we are broken, we want to alleviate the pain. But by alleviating the pain, we want to do that with another human's heart. And if that human can look at us and assess our situation and still choose to move forward and to come into our situation, to come into our life, that means that that person has a level of brokenness. And so now you have different spirits out here, and it's different terminology, and you can make up your own term. Your grandma probably gave it a term that she called it, loose, fast, mannish, Jezebel spirit, seducing spirit. You have different spirits at work out here. Now, for those of y'all who read my book, Mrs. Right, you seen how I break down even how a woman's hairstyle, what it says about her, how I break down how I read people, and how different people, depending on what they have gone through in life and how the world has treated them, shapes and develops them, determines who they are. And so what you have now, you have very manipulative people who, when you are exposed, when your soul is exposed sexually, when your spirit is exposed sexually at a young age, when you are or you experience abandonment or a form of trauma, you go through a traumatic experience, you grow up fast, you don't get time to just really live and just be a kid. You introduce to adult things, whether that's sexual activity, arguments, fussing, fighting, pulling yourself up, getting it out the mud. A lot of times those things can jar you so much that you start to seek pleasure. You start to seek a release. And see, some people choose the release of a sexual release, orgasm. Some people choose that because now what has been said is that when you are intimate in that way, and when you have that kind of release, that the same part of the brain is activated as when you do powder, snort cocaine. So see, some people may never touch a very harmful drug like that, but their release may come from giving their body away. Their release may come from being entangled, having their heart swooned, having their heart entangled in situationships, trying to find peace, trying to find comfort. But what happens is it becomes survival of the fittest. So you have some people who become immune to the true feeling of heartbreak, and they become immune to the true feeling of a toxic soul tie, and they adapt to it, and they accept it, and they accept it as life. Bad marriage for life. They accept it, and what they do is wound each other, take turns hurting each other. And then when the pain gets too great, take a break or separate, and then get entangled with another broken soul. And when you get to this place, you essentially spiritually, emotionally bankrupt. You are bankrupt. Your bank could have millions of dollars in it, but your spirit is bankrupt. So what happens is, when you're in this state, getting ready to be entangled, you will seek out someone who is more hurt than you, and you will go in and play the role of protector, play the role of lover, play the role of confidant, advisor. And it's really to assert power. It's really to position yourself for dominance. It's really to get in a position for mental control, to use the body of this person for your pleasure. But you disregard their heart. And you may give them what seems to be help, but it's really just setting them up to be in your grasp, to just be entangled. And what happens is the one who wins this battle is typically the older person, typically the one who's been around longer, seen the most, done the most, able to prey on the younger, the weaker, the ill-advised, the misinformed, and can prey on them, snatch them up, and use them for their high. So if it's a woman getting a man, she may use her influence. She could be the mayor. She could be the principal. She could be a superintendent. She could be a celebrity. She could be an influencer. She'll use her position, her power, her money, her influence, her name, her brand to get this young man in her grasp. And what he is a pain pill. See, his pain pill is dangling between his legs. It's working in his mouth. See this here? That's his pain pill. This here, that's his pain pill. And what I mean by that is, she want him to use that on her, because when she get that release, that's like activating the same part of the brain, like hitting the old line. And so now, because she met her match, see, the other man she entangled with, that's her match. She has him in her grasp, but see, his spirit is compatible with her spirit. His spirit can go through the toxicity and can war in the trenches with her spirit. See, she cannot devour him. She can wound him, but she can't kill him. You see what I mean? And so what happens is, when he fights back, she's not his kryptonite. So when he fights back and he wants revenge and he goes and does his thing, it hurts her. It hurts her heart. It hurts her mind. It hurts her ego. Because this woman with this type of spirit, this entangled spirit, wants complete control, wants complete domination. But when there's been a man, and he could be there for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, ride together, die together, ride or die, and they have committed to hurt each other for life. See, this is what entanglement does. You have like a suicide pact, essentially. Until death do us part, but what it means is, until I drive you to an early grave through trauma, pain, lies, manipulation, deception, and let's take turns. It becomes a death match of chess. Who's going to hurt who the most? Who can pull the biggest offense? Who can commit the greatest offense to get the other person to surrender, fall into their grasp, and say, I'm all yours? See, this is when you've been turned over to a reprobate mind. And I see that the key here is these type of individuals, and a lot of us have been there. I done been there. These type of individuals are lawless. So what you'll notice, most of these individuals will not subscribe to God. Most of these individuals will denounce the Holy Bible or religion, because those things come with boundaries, come with instructions, come with rules and regulations. It comes with a moral compass. And these individuals want to be lawless. They want to be able to do whatever soothes their pain momentarily. If that's drugs, if it's illicit sex, if it's multiple partners, if it's an open relationship, if it's swinging, if it's bisexuality, pornography, whatever it is, they want to be able to do whatever they want to do. And if you introduce guidelines for life, it disrupts their spirit. But see what happens now, these two spirits, they're at odds, but they're wise enough to be seen as smart, intelligent, deep, because to operate in this spirit, you have some depth. But see, there's depths of the pit of HELL. There's depth to that. See, if you study the ancient text of the Holy Bible, you will see that Satan approached the Son of God, Jesus Christ, and knew the scripture, knew the word of God to approach the Son of God with the word of God. So now here, the most deceptive, manipulative spirit could sound intelligent, could be quoted on wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and intelligence, but yet be spiritually or morally, sexually, morally bankrupt, completely devoid of a true anchor to any form of purity or righteousness. No anchor, no spiritual grounding. That is, and when I say spiritual grounding, I'm not talking about when people go to talking about chakras and all of this stuff. I'm talking about morals. I'm talking about values. Because see, what these individuals will do is they will, in the name of love, hurt people. In the name of help, hurt people. In the name of healing, hurt people. See, they will put a ribbon, put a bow on the grenade, on the ticking time bomb that they're getting ready to put in your life. Put a bow on it. Oh, here you go. Oh, here you go. I'm getting ready to destroy your life. But before I destroy your life, I'm going to pay for 50 sessions of therapy. Here you go. Go to therapy. This is the best therapist out there. But see, it's really like the Purge. You know the movie The Purge? It's really when your spirit has been turned over to a reprobate mind, when you've been turned over to a spiritually bankrupt place in your life because you were introduced to promiscuity, fornication, lust at a young age, pain or trauma at a young age. And when you were not reeled back in, help was not sent, when you were not enlightened and engaged with a new meaning, new purpose, new life, renewed your heart, renewed your mind, when you didn't do that, but you continued to be victimized by people who met you, who wanted to get everything they could get from you, it turns you into a savage-hearted person who, if you show your fangs, everyone will run away. So you have to disguise yourself as harmless, deep, intellectual, centered, spiritual, connected, but really you're a jack in the box. You're a ticking time bomb because you're hurting, you're lost, and you need other humans to be sacrificial for your pain. So you sacrifice the heart, the mind, the spirit, the soul of weaker individuals to make yourself feel better, to make yourself feel powerful. And see, when it comes down to these entanglements, what you will hear the entangled, the men and the women, what you will hear them do is they will weaponize their victimization. Oh yeah, now I'm gonna hit you with some words today. Now some of them come from my dictionary, some of them come from your dictionary. They will weaponize their victimization. What I mean by that is you will hear them constantly, but see, you won't hear them say, I was hurting and I was broken in a way that you can believe it. When they say I was hurting, I was broken, I was lost, you may see a long blank. It may be like, I was really hurting. I was really lost. That blink lets you know that they don't mean what they're saying. Because when they said it, there was not an anchor. There was not a direct, connected, uninterrupted gaze into the person or people they're talking to, with a swelling of emotion and feeling almost to the point of tears. Now see, it's different types of these entangled spirits, because there are types that can say, I was hurting, I was broken, and they will go into tears. But you won't believe it. You won't feel it. Because see, when they're truly hurting and broken, when it comes out of their mouth, the listener, you, will feel it. It's like a smoke signal. It's a cry out for help. So the helper in you connects to it, and you feel drawn to their pain, and you can sense it, you can feel it, because if you've ever been hurt, you know pain when you see it. You know pain when you see it. But see, some people, and this is what we have to realize, is there are choices to be made in life. So humans, adults, pick a side. See, adult is not a victim. An adult is not a victim. An adult is a volunteer. Because an adult has the wherewithal, the mental capacity, unless they are in the true clinical definition of the word mentally retarded, unless they are mentally retarded in the true sense of the word, not the derogatory term that teenagers use, talking about their friend. In the true sense of the word, adults can make a decision to heal or to hurt, to thrive or to survive, to suffer or to succeed. It is a choice, and that choice is followed by action, because there is help. Just like this video, free help. This is free help. We have help. But see, this is what I try to get people to understand, that a lot of people don't want to accept, especially the people who are guilty of it. We live in a world where many will choose to weaponize their victimhood. And they will say, and they will live, and they will attest to and profess and proclaim pain, suffering, a bad marriage, a bad life. If it kills me, it kills me. If I die, I die. If it takes me, it takes me. But this confusion, this lawlessness, this morally bankrupt state, this spiritually bankrupt state, I accept it and I embrace it. That's what they say. They won't say it with their mouth. They'll say it with their actions. Because see, to do the opposite would mean they have to consecrate their spirit. Look up the word consecrate. CONSECRATE. They have to consecrate their spirit, their heart, their mind. See, they will have to renew. And in order to be renewed, it's like if a person has a drug addiction and there is the house, the trap, the dope house that they go to. In order to be healed, they have to remove themselves from that neighborhood. They have to avoid that neighborhood at all costs. They may have to go live somewhere else with someone else, move somewhere else, go to a rehab, get help, be talked to the way I'm talking to you. Be talked to. Hear the hard truth. See, someone who doesn't want to change, they don't want to hear the truth. Everyone is attacking them. Everyone is judging them. Everyone is being nosy. Everyone is sticking their nose where it doesn't belong. They don't want help. They want to be understood. Oh, we understand you. We understand that you refuse to feel remorse and regret and to do the work to change. Now, see, this is what I mean by do the work. I mean doing the work with someone who has been called to help you face yourself, confront yourself. Someone who has been called to it. It is going to be painful because what you hear about your victimhood that you have volunteered to remain in will bring you to your knees. But you don't want to hear it because you want to call it a choice, your right. If I want to sleep around and I want to sleep with who I want to sleep with, you're not considering the damage to their heart, the damage to their spirit, to their soul when you entangle your body with theirs, when you use your body. Your penis, okay, vajay, okay, penis, okay, vajay, booty, okay. When you use your body, whatever you're using, mouth, okay, peach cobbler, microphone, when you use your body to get a emotional release. See, you want to be touched. You want to be loved. But what you don't realize is you need to be touched by God spiritually. You need to be moved. You need to be loved by your Creator. But in order for that to happen, you got to confront yourself and you got to confront your Creator. And so what these individuals will do, and I used to be there. I was there. I changed my life. I had to confront myself. I had to realize that what I was doing was wrong. I had to realize that I wasn't just sinning against myself. I was sinning against others. I had to realize I wasn't just hurting myself. I was hurting others. I had to realize that as I was seeking pleasure for my pain, I was causing pain in the lives of others. See, I had to confront myself. And see, what I had to realize is that that pleasure that I was seeking was actually pain disguised as happiness. See, momentary pleasure leads to pain, not to happiness. I had to realize that. It was painful. Because see, what happens is when you seek out that remedy for your unaddressed issues, you do it with the heart of another human. Because see, a book does not have a heartbeat. You can't lay your head on the chest of a book. A video does not have a heartbeat. See, you want a physical body that you can feel warm blood coursing through the veins. It's almost like you are a spiritual vampire. Because if you can suck the blood of another human, it fills you up. But when you are exposed to the light, you feel like it's killing you. Because when you exposed to the light, and when I say light, I mean truth of your ways, it's so painful that you are the toxic one. That's a painful realization, to understand that you have been hurt and you have accepted the hurt, and now you are hurting others to soothe your pain. So instead of fixing your heart, you are feeding your heart the blood of other victims who have not seen as much as you, done as much as you, learned as much as you. They don't know the game the way you know the game. So see, you eventually meet your match. You meet your match. And when you meet your match, it becomes spiritual warfare. And I'm not talking good and evil, because you're both operating from an evil space. But spiritual warfare meaning your spirit versus his spirit or her spirit. But you meet your match. And you ever seen a tennis match that lasts 3 hours, 4 hours? And it's like, what in the world? It's like that. You're going back and forth, back and forth. You get this set, next they get that set. You get this set, they get that set. You get this. You got to win by 2. And you can't ever get up 2, because you win 1 and they win 1. You win 1, they win 1. You win 1, they win 1. It's a evil game. It's a toxic game that you playing with your life, you playing with your heart. So eventually you need a break. Separation. And now you got to go find some blood to suck. All right. Now I say some of these words wrong, trying not to get tripped up on here. All right. This somebody else's network. This ain't my network. I'm still raising the money for Tony Tool. When I get Tony Tool, woo, now it's going to be unadulterated truth. You hear me? But while I'm on here, I got to try to tone this thing down. But this top right here can't really tone it down. So on this here break, you want to go get somebody. See, now you're going to find your sacrificial lamb. Your sacrificial lamb. Now, what this is a weak person who has been hurt, lied to, taken advantage of, abandoned. And you may even publicly use the words like, when this person came to me, he was really, really sick. He was really sick. Okay, healer. Okay, healer. So let me get this straight. This person came to you admittedly very sick. You have witnesses. Your witness that this person was very sick might be the person you entangled with already. It might be your match that you met, that you can't conquer, that you can't devour with your spiritual lustivity, Jezebel spirit. It might be your match. So you and your match may see this person is very sick. But guess what? This your fill up. This your fill up. This the purge. This your sacrificial lamb. This who you finna suck the life out of. This who you finna suck the life out of so you could get revitalized in your vampirism, so you could go back in your initial entangled situation to keep the fight going. Because your main partner, your life partner, want revenge. And you know your life partner gonna get revenge. But in order to get revenge, you got to be filled up off somebody else's blood. So you find the weak lamb. This lamb leg broken. You let the lamb rest up. Give it some milk. Feed the lamb. Let it eat from the land. Fatten the lamb up. Get in good. Make the lamb feel comfortable. Make the young lad feel comfortable. Make the young lamb feel comfortable. We'll use them interchangeably. Young lad, young lamb. Make them feel comfortable. Make them feel this all consensual, this all good, this all love. Rest your head. And when the young lad rests his head, you off with it. You off with his head. You fill back up. You've been moving in the dark. You've been moving in the dark, keeping the public in the dark. Show a little bit of face. Show a little bit of teeth. Let the public see. This get the lamb comfortable because the lamb say, oh, you ain't afraid to walk around with me? Oh, you ain't afraid to go in public with me? Oh, you must really care for me. I thought I was the little weak lad, the little weak lamb. I thought you were going to keep me hidden. Oh, you going to show me. So the young lamb get comfortable. Build a little confidence. But don't realize that he or she is only being used for the real warfare. The warfare with the life partner. You're just a fill up. The young lamb don't realize he or she is just a fill up. You like the Tesla charging station. Battery done ran low. Get a little power. All right, let's get back into it. So now, the person who is admittedly, you say, your life partner says, your friends say, your confidants say, your watchers, your teammates who condoning your brokenness, your foulness, your immorality, your indiscretion. Everybody, all your enablers can see your victim is weak, is sick. And the crazy thing about it is, your victim, see, when I'm talking about these entangled people, the victim might be brought to them by a loved one. The victim might be brought into their life by their son or their daughter, by their cousin, by the CPA, by the assistant, by their attorney, by their mother, by their father. See, this happened on all levels. See, a lot of times people just think this stuff happened on multi-millionaire celebrity level. No, this happening in your neighborhood. This happening in the hood. This happening in the hood. Well, grandma know Billy Ray granddaughter. And grandma bring Billy Ray granddaughter over to her house to get a meal to introduce her to her blood-sucking grandson, who she know got an entangled spirit. You see what I mean? Don't get caught up thinking I'm talking about certain people that you may know or that you may not know. Don't get caught up throwing stones. Don't get caught up trying to, all right, stone somebody, lend somebody the stake. No, don't get caught up in that. Look right next to you. Look at yourself. All right? Look at yourself. Look right next to you. Look at your mama. Look at your daddy. Look at your brother. Look at your sister. Look at your cousin. Look at your auntie, your uncles, your grandma, your granddaddy. Look right next to you. Look at your school teacher. Look at your boss. Look at yourself. See, evaluate. See if you have an entangled spirit. See if somebody you know got an entangled spirit. Because see, what this spirit is doing is seeking to devour, to steal. It could be stealing innocence, stealing the heart, stealing the mind. To kill, it could be killing self-esteem, killing self-worth, and destroy. It leaves the victim for dead. Why? Because he or she through it sacrificed for their heart, their self-esteem, their self-worth was stripped. Because see, the person with an entangled spirit feels like if they can master the mind, the spirit, manipulate like a puppet master this other person, they feel more powerful. They feel like they're full. They feel like they're healed. That's why they can go and talk to people about it without shedding a tear. And they can go and talk to people without accepting responsibility. And they can go and gloss it over with words and fancy words and a bunch of broken speak. Broke language. When I say broke language, I ain't talking about money. I'm talking about broken minded, spiritually bankrupt legalese. You will hear them using words, trying to get you to feel sympathy for them and to excuse them for taking advantage of another soul. But see, the proof is in the pudding. The solution is in the problem. See, when you listen closely, you will hear the damnation of the entangled spirit. Because you're going to hear the entangled spirit say, well, the person that I was dealing with was very sick or very broken. And I was broken. I was really hurting. I was really hurting. I was really lost. You're going to hear the admission of guilt. But what you gotta also hear is that the entangled person, this spirit, is a willing spirit. This is a willing spirit. The spirit knows what it's doing. It has accepted the role. Because think about this in a literal sense, but also in a metaphorical sense. To be exorcised. Now see, okay, if you country like me, you think I'm talking about exercise. I ain't talking about I ain't talking about E-X-E-R. I said exorcise. X-E-X-O-R. Okay? Which is to abstract, to remove a spirit. In this case, we talking a demonic spirit, right? But not in, some people use this in a religious way, and some people use this in a sacrilegious way, in a practice, but not literally speaking. But when you see somebody delivered from a spirit, it is a painful, jarring, uncomfortable, outer body, otherworldly experience. When I was a child, I was in church, and a lady came in, this is a true story, with a spirit, and the pastor went to praying for her. I was a kid, and sometimes you hear this stuff on movies. I looked at it. I was looking at it. The pastor went to praying for the lady. See, spirits attract or spirits repel. That's why ooh. See, I know where I operate from. I know who I am. I know who called me. So that's why when my spirit don't mesh with somebody, I know all I need to know. When somebody don't vibe with me, I know all I need to know, because I know my behind the scenes. I know I live a righteous lifestyle. I know I live a pure lifestyle. I know I live a selfless lifestyle. So when somebody is repelled from me, I know that they could sense my spirit. They could sense my purity. And so they got to keep their distance. Because when they come in my presence, they shrink. They're like, ooh, 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 ooh. They feel like I'm judging them. I'm not judging you. I see you. I'm not judging you, but I see you. There's healing. There's healing. I'm a healer. Because see, a healer don't hurt you. A healer ain't going to try to bankrupt you. A healer ain't going to sleep with you. I'm a healer. My son played this game called Overwatch, right? And they at war. And they fighting people. But it's certain characters that's healers. So that when people get wounded, that character can send out a healing ray. And everybody got to come inside of that ray. And they get healed to go back into battle. My sons play that game. But see, I look at it differently. Just like I look at everything in life. But see, this is what I want you to understand. These spirits, they attract or they repel. So I remember, now let me go back to my story. I almost left the story. The lady came in and she went up for prayer. And the pastor, okay, atheists, all right, atheists, all of this what y'all are, I'm telling you a real story. All right, take it how you want to take it. All right. The lady went up for prayer and she had a spirit on her. The pastor went to praying for her. The lady fell to the ground, started shaking. She was vibrating on the ground, started convulsing, and she started foaming at the mouth. Foam come out of her mouth. White foam out her mouth. And in that moment, what they said was happening, they said she was being delivered from a spirit. Oh yeah, that's real. That I've seen that with my own very eyes, with my very own eyes. You hear me? So understand this. That is why the entangled spirits choose to remain entangled. See, what they want to do is they want to hide in plain sight. They want to be broken. They want to be damaged. They want to be hurt. They want to be lost. They want to be lawless. They want to be moralist. And when I say moralist, I don't mean in every area. See, some of these spirits will give to charity, will serve, but they have their area. See, with these entangled spirits, somebody could be entangled with a financial spirit to where they're pure sexually, but they do fraud financially. Some could be pure financially. They don't do any fraud. They don't break any laws. They break hearts by sucking spirits out of people. Not in a positive way, not in a healing way. They get the broken. They get the sick. They openly admit that the sick that they slept with was sick when he or she was brought into their life by one of their enablers, one of the people who sees them but does not see them. See, everybody sees them. Son, daughter, husband, mother, friends, family. Everybody sees them. But 99% of people choose to enable. Now see, not enable in the positive way, enable in the negative way. Choose to enable this person by not calling out this spirit that they're operating from. A manipulative and controlling and seducing spirit. A demonic spirit, if you may say, if that's how you believe. And see, this spirit, it seeks to devour, because off of the pain of others is how it is empowered. It's how it is revitalized. And see, from these type of spirits, you will hear excuses, you will hear explanations, but very rarely will you hear an authentic apology. Will you hear, I am truly, truly sorry for taking advantage of someone who came to me, trusting me, believing in me, needing me, and seeking healing, seeking growth. But see, now, here's the thing now. Here's the thing. Sometimes the victim spirit is not actually a victim. Sometimes the spirit that you think is a victim is actually a willing participant. Because here's what happens. The victim spirit that you think is a victim actually came to get their own fill, to get their own notch in their belt, to build their storyline so that they can go out and talk about it and have a story to tell. Because see, a true victim will not weaponize their victimhood. See, they may tell their story, but they won't weaponize their victimhood. And it's a fine line, and only certain people who have elevated to a certain level of discernment and understanding can tell the difference. See, people who dare not venture into the land of discernment because of the painful reality of being able to truly see people for who they are, it's a painful reality, because when you can see people, you will realize that your mother is not who you thought she was, that your father is not who you thought he was, that your brother, that your sister, that your husband, that your wife is not who you thought they were, that your son, that your daughter. See, when you can see people for who they are, when you enter into that realm of discernment, discretion, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that is given to you freely by your Creator when you ask. See, when you go into that space, the book of Proverbs says, if you seek wisdom, ask for it. And when you get wisdom, make sure you get understanding. Because see, even entangled spirits have wisdom. They have wisdom. They may even have some understanding. They may very well understand themselves, but they have made a choice. See, I don't speak names. My father always tell me, son, don't speak names. So I try not to, but sometimes I'm too real. But see, you don't have to speak names. A spirit know when you're talking to it. A spirit know when you're talking to it. In the Bible, you'll see when Jesus approached certain demonic spirits, the spirit went crazy in the vessel. Whoever was holding that spirit went crazy. If they breaking chains, ready to jump off a cliff. Spirit went crazy because a pure and a righteous spirit approached it, and it. See, you're going to see it. When you start living right, when you start living with integrity, you start living with morals and values across the board in every area of your life, you're going to see that you will repel certain people. They want to stay far away from you because they know you see them. They move in the dark. They play face, put on a face in the light. But when they come in your light, they are exposed. And they go the other way. See, spirits know spirits. Now see, it's a certain, in this space that I'm talking about, and you gonna take in your mind and say, oh, he talking about this person, he talking about that person. I might be, I might not be. But this is what I need you to understand. Spirits know spirits. See, it's been certain tables, colored tables, that's talk shows that I've been approached by. But see, approached by one of the runners. Approached by one of the runners. Approached by one of the producers. But see, that producer does not have the spirit of the talent, the host. So the producer may see my spirit and see a light. But the host may see my spirit and see that it's a different spirit. And that if we sit in front of each other, across from each other, there is going to be a reckoning. And there will be no language to escape the spiritual confrontation. The good, the pure, the healed will prevail by truth. So I want you to understand, address your entanglement. And if you see it elsewhere, speak to it. Call it out. Cool, calm, and collected. Call it out. It's real. It's dangerous. But you'll know it when you see it if you accept discernment. Hey, this is Tony Gaskins. God bless you.